What up, Rock? Welcome to another episode of the Brandon Janeau Show. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and like always on all podcast platforms, Brandon Janeau Show, social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Brandon Janeau Show, and of course, YouTube channel, Brandon Janeau Show. Shout out to all the new subscribers, appreciate it. So go subscribe, comment, follow, all that, man. Subscribe, I should say. I do comment back, man, on there. So, Brandon New Show YouTube channel. Let's get into it. Tonight is I Bleed Sports, man. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Um, crazy, 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 crazy. So let's start like this. Next Thursday, yeah, next Thursday, I think. Yeah, I think next Thursday, I think, is the NFL schedule release. I can't wait to see, where people are going to be playing. Um, there's a report today that the opening game of this season will be Thursday night. It will be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens, I think, or Sunday night, one of the two. I don't know. I might. The Eagles might be playing the Packers for Thursday night, and I think that Sunday will be the Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens. But um, I'm looking forward to it, man. The NFL is officially coming back. I know rookie OTAs have just started, uh, and you can't have one moment of quote unquote uh, off season without the NFL still being somewhat of a conversational talking tool, talking point, which is kind of interesting. The last couple of days, they ever since the draft, the NFL's been kind of quiet on this front. Couple of things that has transpired the last couple of days. Something I didn't speak on last week is Ezekiel Elliott getting re-signed by the Dallas Cowboys. What do I think they do for the Dallas Cowboys? Nothing. You brought back somebody that you pretty much let walk last year because you didn't think he fit the team anymore, and now he's you know back, and that's one of Dak Prescott's good friends. So I get why you brought him back, but at the same time, um, I don't think I don't think Dallas is gonna be good this year. I think losing Dan Quinn is gonna hurt the defense, which is something that you could not afford. All you have is CD Lamb still as the number one receiver, and that's pretty much it. I do think Jake Ferguson, the tight end, is going to be better this season. I think he's definitely going to have more of an impact. But that team, man, that team is such a team. You don't know what Dallas is yet. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, man. I can easily see Washington having a jump up in this season. With the draft they just had, and also the free agent signings that the Commanders brought in. I trust Dan Quinn. Um, Cliff Kingsbury is still I don't know, but I do believe that with the team that they have in Washington, they can definitely have a conversation for at least the second, maybe even first spot in the NFC East. I don't know. I guess I'm just really sentimental to the Commanders, Washington Commanders. I don't know, but I really do. I've been saying Washington is going to be this team from somewhere, somehow, some way that's just going to pop up and be that team. And I don't know, but I do believe that they're better than what people think they're going to be. That's what I believe. Um, Speaking of that, a report came out to this week as well that Kirk Cousins, the new quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, literally left Minnesota because they informed him they're going to draft a quarterback, and he left Minnesota because they told him they're going to draft a quarterback. Well, he goes to Atlanta, signs a 4-year deal, over $180 million, $100 million guaranteed, and then he gets signed to Atlanta, and then Atlanta drafts a quarterback. That shit is still stupid to me. I'm trying to not. Happy birthday to Michael Penix Jr. By the way, happy 24th, my brother. I have been on here on on this podcast for months saying I believe that Michael Penix Jr. will be one of the best quarterbacks in this upcoming draft, and I've been that way, and I've continuously been that way. Kirk Cousins leaving Minnesota because they informed him they're gonna probably take a quarterback in the draft, which they should have. Still negates the fact that Atlanta is they're stupid and literally took a quarterback when you really didn't fucking have to. See, here's the thing with Minnesota. They probably would have taken, signed Kirk Cousins, probably not to a super long contract. I wouldn't have. Probably 2 years and bring in JJ McCarthy, whoever fell to Minnesota fell to the Minnesota Vikings at that time. The problem with this is that Kirk Cousins left Minnesota because he felt like you cannot bring in another young quarterback. This is now making all the sense in the world for why he felt like, yo, Atlanta, why the fuck would you do that? I literally told you I'm ready to play quarterback. I'm here. And you went behind my back and you still drafted a fucking quarterback. That's dysfunction, man. I don't get any of that shit. People have tried, and your defense, they get better. You didn't draft anything that made that defense better. Oh God, that's I feel bad for how this is about to play out for them. Um, yeah, I guess, man. I guess. Yeah. Um. Now switching gears. Switching gears. So Lomachenko is fighting George Kambosos uh this upcoming weekend. Um, this Saturday. And last Saturday was Canelo fighting boxing. There's a lot of things going on in boxing, but I want to start with the Canelo fight. Um, I I think after he fights, I forgot, I think in June, July, uh, Benavidez, they need to fight. I know they're trying to say that Crawford and Canelo, Crawford and Canelo, uh, are talking about fighting in like I think December or January. I don't think that's a good idea. Canelo has to fight David Benavidez. Watching that fight Saturday for Canelo, the young kid was doing everything right. He was jabbing early rounds. He was jabbing, and Canelo was kind of just taking him. But when Canelo has somebody that's bigger than him, that he can't outmove, the two fights that Canelo has lost, uh, uh, the Beavidall fight, and of course Floyd Mayweather, he cannot still stop jabs. I mean, I've seen him fight a lot. He can't stop jabs. David Benavidez, his last fight against Andrea Andreas Andreas Bird, Andreas Demetrius Andreas, like you saw David Benavidez in the first couple of minutes, and even in the Caleb Plant fight, like he was kind of just like like just fucking doing what he needed to do to stay in the fight, and then he started just jabbing and starting to get it going. Canelo is good, but the one thing that he continuously fall into is the um that he's not good at taking jabs. And if you could control distance from him, which is the one thing Canelo needs more so because he needs to load up on his shots because he's such now a power shooter, a power hitter. If you could control him with the jab, keep it at a distance, he can't get in. And the one thing you learn from the Benavidez fight, the Beavidall fight, I should say, the Beavidall fight, is when Beavidar kind of started to insert that distance with the jab, but also then started to kind of like put his body on him. Yo, Canelo could not fucking handle that shit. And if you watch Saturday, it was the same thing for the first what 2 3 rounds. The kid was doing exactly what he was supposed to do: jab, keep his distance, kind of get him, get Canelo, make Canelo have to do more. Maybe Canelo just didn't feel like the kid didn't really have that much power, like talking about it. His defense was really bad, really shaky. Um, but after the fight, Canelo started talking shit to David Benavidez in the crowd. And Benavidez was like, man, shit, let's do it, man. I'm waiting for you. Canelo has to fight David Benavidez. He's got to. If David wins this upcoming fight that he's in, if he wins that, and they fight again and they fight, they have to fight, man. This is ridiculous. You can't keep holding off on this fight, delaying the inevitable. I know Bud Crawford and Canelo are supposed to fight in like January, February. That feels more like an exhibition than it does a fucking actual fight that you believe Bud can actually win. I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and say Bud can't win. Bud is one of them dudes where anything can fucking happen when it gets in the ring. But yeah, I just feel like if David Benavidez and Canelo don't fight at some point, we're just really not getting a chance to watch two of the best of in that division fight each other, man. Speaking of that, Tank Davis and Frank Martin are fighting on the same card as the next David Benavidez fight. I can't wait to that fight. It's gonna be fun to see. Uh, Tank also ran into Devin Haney in Vegas. It's kind of funny to see them two get into it. David, I don't know if they're gonna. Which brings me to the Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia tested positive for steroids, and I want to see if the boxing association is going to be like, okay, we're going to give Devin Haney his record back, take the win away from Ryan Garcia, but he got exposed, man. That was regardless of if Ryan took drugs or not, steroids or not. Devin Haney got his ass whooped. Like that is not something you could just skip the fuck over. Like that is bad, and that is exactly what Devin Haney has to know can happen again. And this is why we kept saying, man, that's why I've always said, like, him getting in the ring with Tank, he would get fucking destroyed by Tank because he doesn't have the power and nobody's afraid of him when it comes to the power shit. He's a great, really good, really great, really good boxer. I don't think he's great, but I think he's good. I think he's very good at what he does. He's got deceptive power sometimes. It kind of depends on who he's boxing. Sometimes people don't. Depends on who he's boxing sometimes. Like the Regis Prograis fight, I think the Regis just wasn't ready to handle some of the things that he was capable of, and also Regis kept kind of just standing there letting him tag him. So I just feel like, man, um, if Tank and if Tank gets past Frank Martin, which is it's not gonna probably be easy. Pretty fucking sure about that. But if it happens, man, it's gonna be fun to see how that's gonna look. Tank, this is gonna be Tank's first fight in the ring since the Ryan Garcia fight. So Tank would be off for what, a year? I mean, he had two fights last year. He he fought in January, and then he fought to go against Garcia, Ryan Garcia. I think it was also Garcia that he fought. The Yeah, another Garcia he fought. Hector Garcia, I think, in January of last year. So yeah, this was a long layoff for Tank, but he will be back in the ring in June. Um, like I said, Lomachenko and George Kambosos are fighting this Saturday. I think Loma beats George. I think George Kambosos, the reason why he beat Teofimo Lopez is pretty well known now. Teofimo Lopez literally got in the ring and probably was a danger to his health to even step in that ring with him that night. And for you know him to beat him, then that's great. Lomachenko, we're gonna see if the old man, I don't call him an old man, that's a very loose term, but Lomachenko, the one thing about Lomachenko when he got in the ring with Devin Haney is Devin was younger than him. He can kind of do a lot of things and even in that situation, Lomachenko had his moments, he had his spurts. But the one thing about Lomachenko sometimes is he takes his foot off the gas. And excuse me, if he takes his foot off of the gas in this fight, I don't think Josh Kambosos beats Lomachenko at all. But it's boxing; anything can fucking happen. Um, so yeah, I want to see how that's gonna look. Um, what next? What else I want to talk about? Um, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani now leads the MLB in home runs. I know it's early in the season, but he now leads the Major League Baseball in home runs. I still think the Dodgers are not going to the World Series. I don't think the Dodgers go to the World Series. I actually think the Phillies, who's having a really good start to their season, who lost their winning streak last night, got it snapped. I think the Phillies are going to the World Series. Bryce Harper is on a mission this season, and I think he might have the right situation going on for him to be the guy. And I think the Phillies are going to get out the NL. I really do. Because I think they got the bats, but with their combined with their pitching and their ability to hit, and the one thing about the Phillies last year, why they didn't get to the World Series, really didn't get to the World Series, is because they had so much at the top, you know, so much heavy hitters that they couldn't get on base when they needed to get on base. That's why when the Diamondbacks who beat them in LCS last year, when the Diamondbacks beat them, it's because they wasn't getting on base. Most of their biggest runs came when they hit the home run. So I think the Phillies this year, with combined with the team they have now, and the guy, the one and only Mr. Bryce Harper, still one of my favorite baseball players. I can't wait to see how they're gonna look. But I think the Phillies give the Dodgers so much trouble when they get in the playoffs. It's not even close. For the AL, I don't know who comes out the AL, but I know it ain't the Yankees. I can tell you that. I know it ain't gonna be the Yankees. I just don't think the Yankees are good. I, I mean, listen, records can be deceiving. When you get into the playoffs, man, it's not about a record. It's about can you win 5 game? Can you win 5 games? Can you win three in the first round? Can you win seven the next? And with the Yankees pitching, yeah, they always had top tier hitters. I don't give a shit about your home runs. You can't get on base, Aaron Judge, and now he's getting booed and he's getting into these situations. So I don't think the Yankees are getting out the AL either, man. Like I said, man, at the beginning of the season, I don't think the Knicks, I mean the Dodgers or the Yankees are two teams that are going to meet the World Series. Even though Major League Baseball will pay anything to get it done, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. And finally, talking about the Knicks basketball. um, so the second round has officially kicked off, and there's only been one series that have now officially reached game 3 in these playoffs, and that will be Minnesota. But Friday it will be game 3 for the Knicks and the Pacers. The Knicks and the Pacers are about to tip off for game 2. Watching it right now. Um, but Minnesota is now up 2-0 against the Denver Nuggets. Um, the one thing about Denver, right, that they were able to capitalize on so much for the Lakers is they start slow. But because the Lakers are really made up of two players, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and nothing really else, you can beat them because either they got really good offensive scores on a they can either score, which if you look at game 4, perfect example, they literally had to have D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves all go the fuck off with LeBron and Anthony Davis, and then you go into game 5 and they just. But the one thing about the Denver Nuggets in this postseason has been if you literally watch those 5 games for the Nuggets and Lakers, you can see the deficiencies of the Nuggets because the Lakers led that entire series. It was just only in the fourth quarters when the Lakers started to slow the fuck down because LeBron got tired, Anthony Davis got tired. This ain't the same series, man. Minnesota's different. Combined with the fact that Anthony Edwards is that fucking dude. Anthony Edwards is that fucking dude. And I remember when people were saying, you know, can Anthony Edwards be the face of the NBA? Yeah, he can easily be the face of the NBA. I get it. He's in Minnesota. I get it. I get it. But because we live in a world right now where social media is such a massive thing, it doesn't matter where he's at. He's going to be seen. And that is the thing. Anthony Edwards, man, this postseason has shown me one thing. There is a new changing of the guard, ladies and gentlemen, in basketball. Minnesota is here to stay. And I've told people, and I said this, man, Minnesota's one of them teams that I felt like this year what could be that team. I thought that like they had something. I also thought they would probably trade Karl Anthony Towns at some point during the season because I thought it would be a little bit of a problem for him and Anthony Edwards. But it seems like Karl Anthony Towns has no problems with sitting behind him and letting Anthony Edwards be the guy. And that's a pretty good situation. Um, you got to realize game two, they had no Rudy Gobert, who literally is a what 4-time defensive player of the year after yesterday winning it for the fourth time. They are now officially uh they had no Rudy Gobert in game two. In Denver, because they started so slow, they just never had a chance. Minnesota is not gonna come out here and play with this bullshit ass uh they're not gonna get tired at any moment in this postseason. And on top of that, their defense is on Denver's ass, man. Jamal Murray's already got a bad hamstring. You add to now the fact that these motherfuckers are lengthy and they're all in your shit, and you ain't getting a breather. And now the Joker's got to do more because his ass, because now he's got to do more, and he's got to not only do more offensively, he's got to do more defensively, and that is something that I don't think he's ready for. I don't know if Denver could win 4 straight games. It's damn near impossible. But I can definitely tell you this: if they lose Friday, Denver shouldn't even show up for Game 4. They should just go ahead and forfeit that shit and give it to Minnesota. It's over. It's just, it's over. If they lose Friday in Minnesota, it's over. Like just go ahead and go home, get yourself on a plane, go your ass to Denver, go back to Denver, because you're not winning 4 consecutive games against Minnesota. That shit ain't happening, man. Anthony Edwards is not letting you win a game. You think you're gonna win 4 games? Get the fuck out of here. Another series that is very interesting to see um, is the series I just talked about, the Knicks and the Pacers. I have a feeling this is going 7. I have a I have a feeling, call it a hunch. It's going 7. Now that means tonight the Pacers have to win, but it also feels like they can literally split the first 4 games both on each other's home courts. The Knicks can win tonight, and then the Pacers can take the next 2 at home. And then I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then they have the decisive game 7 because that's what the NBA gods will want. They want the Knicks and the Pacers to play to a game 7 in New York, MSG. Winner goes to the Eastern Conference Finals. The first time for the Pacers since 2013. First 2013, 2014. First time for the New York Knicks since 1999. That's what you want. You want that. You need that. That's what the fuck we all need. I need that. It Man, this series feels like a 7 game series, man. This is you know why I love this series so much right now? I'm gonna be honest with y'all for 1 second, man. This feels like the 90s. I know, man. It feels like the 90s, man. I'm so used to growing up and NBA on NBC and the theme music used to come on. This feels like that. It feels like it. Defensively savvy. Both teams don't have not an inter give up. It feels like that. You got 1 star from the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. You got 1 star from the Knicks, Jalen Bronson, and then you got just a hell of a cast planting around them, kind of like the Knicks and Pacers back in the day, Patrick Ewing and Reggie Miller. But the hell of a cast surrounding them. I am looking so forward to this series, man. This is my favorite series right now in the playoffs. I ain't even gonna lie. Maybe it's because of the nostalgia. Maybe it only does go 4 games. But either way it goes, I'm gonna be happy while it's happening. um, the other two series kicked off last night. The Thunder and the Mavs. And the Celtics in Cleveland. Um, I think Cleveland could get a game, maybe two. Um, don't let last night fool you. Donovan Mitchell at some point is going to turn into playoff Donovan, and he's gonna go crazy. At some point, Darius Garland is going to have one of those games where he just takes off. One thing I learned about the Celtics in the Miami Heat series is, as good as they are, they still have the deficiencies as a team, and I feel like with the I feel like with the situation at hand when it comes to the Boston Celtics, um, I've been said this. Jalen Brown should be your first option, not Jason Tatum. I love Jason Tatum as a player. I think he's amazing. But I think because he's supposed to be the guy, he falls short in that situation. And I feel like that's where I feel like the Boston Celtics might get caught up in the situation. So congratulations to the Boston Celtics for last night. But I do believe Cleveland's going to at least get it to a 6 game. And they're going to lose in Cleveland. Now, Dallas and the Thunder. Luca cannot have a 6 for 19 night, and I think that's gonna happen a lot more often. Um, I've said this numerous times. Dallas is good, but Dallas is not this take no prisoners team. Everything has to go extremely right for Dallas to win. That means Luca's got to go off for 40, Kyrie got to go off for 40, and then certain people in on the team kind of does their thing. I don't think this is that. I think the Thunder got the Dallas Mavericks number. I think say Gilgeous-Alexander is going to go at Luca. He's going to go at Kyrie Irving. Chad Holmgren. Who the fuck do you really have to stop that dude? What Daniel Gaffney? Uh, Derek Lively. Like, yeah, I just feel like OKC is going to the Western Conference Finals. I can easily. And here's the thing, man. I am so happy to see new teams at the top. Minnesota and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and let's say Boston and New York, that's some crazy shit. Boston and the Pacers, Cleveland and New York, Cleveland and Indiana, that's some crazy shit. I would love to see that NBA Finals. That would be a dope ass NBA Finals for me. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, that would be the dopest NBA Finals. I would actually watch that shit. I would actually be super excited because it'd be the first time without Steph. Well, last year was the first time without Steph and LeBron and all them. But that'll be the dopest NBA Finals of all time because it would feel like now it is a true changing of the guard. It is a new generational league, and maybe now the new face of the NBA will be here. Maybe it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Maybe it's Anthony Edwards. Maybe it is Jason Tatum. Maybe it's Jalen Brown. Maybe it's Donovan Mitchell. Maybe it's Luca. Maybe it's Kyrie. I don't know what Kyrie, but maybe it's Luca. You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe the Joker and them wake up and get it on again. I don't know, but it would be dope to see. And that's what this NBA playoffs feel like right now. It's just a dope ass time to be a fan of the NBA. It went from we all went from being like, damn, the NBA might be in some trouble to like, okay, playoffs are here. Now people are showing the fuck up. Let's get it going. All in all, man, I am so happy for this, man. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And I'm about to go watch the Pacers and the Knicks. I am Brandon Janeau. This is I Bleed Sports. Till next time, peace.